much for being here. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for taking the time to be here, and thank you for professional panel as well for coming out and being willing to share your experiences. So as most of you know, my name is Alan Aguirre. I'm the Student Services Coordinator for UOB Santa Cruz. It is a great pleasure and honor to have you with us tonight, obviously. And once again, thank you for your time. Most of you are in the field, are thinking about being in the field, so we have, I think, a good audience for this event. And whether your path, really is just beginning, or you're continuing on the path, we have a little bit, I think, for everybody tonight. So that's our goal in sharing those experiences. And to open up the floor and set the stage, I'd like to begin with my story. So I think you guys know me in my higher education setting, but you may not know that I was a quote-unquote educator at some point. So as much as an instructional aid can be, right? So just a little backdrop to my story. So I'm, 21. This used to be a call center. I'm not 21 right now. I gotta date myself. Not much older than that. But this used to be a call center. And 2-3 years in, I mean, it's a tough business. People think you're there answering the phones. That's not reality. You deal with some rough people. You learn some skills. I'm so ever grateful for the skills that I learned within that call center, because I've carried those skills elsewhere, right? You learn how to talk to different people, even when they're not being the nicest of people to you. So that was my setting. That was where I was at. Just, I would have taken anything, like, oh, you want to paint walls or something? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it, right? So I was up to that point. So I ended up selling cars for a little bit. I had a stint. I don't share this very much, but I had a short stint as a car salesman. Ask me how many cars I sold. I'll tell you why, though. It was tough. So I love cars. I mean, I've loved cars ever since I was little. But selling cars, oh, that's completely different. I learned that very quick. They ask you to come up with a list. Come up with a list of family, friends that are maybe looking to buy a car. No leads, right? So I'm just there reading the manuals. I thought, okay, I'm really informed about the cars. If I know all the specs and, all that good stuff, I'll be good. And I didn't have one bit. So when I was in high school, most of you know this about me, I was a mariachi. So I took mariachi. I was in mariachi. And I was the aide for my mariachi instructor. So he remembered me. His aide was MIA. He's like, Alan, I have your number. You come and help out, help out the mariachi. Yep, sign me up, let's go. Go through the hiring process through NUSD. So I was teaching at Nogales High School. And I remember the first day I went back to the education setting, it was like, I go in there all fly at 21, still mature, but not that mature yet, that was a wake-up call there.
He was my teacher.
I was. We'll get to that too.
He was the teacher.
So, I'm there. I go visit the principal. I'm here to help, Mr. Valenzuela. I go, introduce myself on the first day. We'll kind of present myself the first day. First thing he tells me, tuck in. Okay, here we go. Because you have to be that example as an educator, right? I didn't understand that. So I tuck in, hi, Mr. Valenzuela. I'm looking forward to this opportunity. The bell rings. I walk in to the classroom, and it was just a surreal experience. I'm like, wow, I'm back in high school, right? So, being a musician is completely different than being an educator or teacher, or having those skills, right? So I know mariachi. I've known mariachi. At that point, I had been a mariachi for 4 years, So I'm like, I'm good, don't worry. That first time that you're in front of a classroom, is daunting. It is scary. And I don't know how I got through that first year, but I did. You know what? I figured that I wasn't too bad at that. So the message really is that education finds you, right? So you may be on that path directly. Some of us land on that path, but regardless, if it's going to find you in one way or another, and it's that rewarding. I think that's why educators, you see these educators that have been educators for so many years, because they have that passion. It's more than anything, that's, tangible. The experience is that much more. So that's my short, brief story about education. I did that for about 4 years. Things didn't pan out for me. Obviously, at the end of things, I wasn't a certified educator, so it is what it is. But I hang on to that very dearly, because that is experience that can go with me anywhere. I feel comfortable in pretty much, not every setting yet, but in a lot of settings because of my classroom time. And I approach things differently as a teacher, I'd like to think. So that helps me a ton. That's more benefit for me. So, I hope that you take advantage of that and, know that it can lead you to the direct path to the classroom, but it can be so much more than that down the line as well. So with that, I would like to introduce our professional panel. So once again, thank you very much for taking the taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I truly appreciate it. So our professional panel, Miss Jennifer Estrada. She's a second grade teacher at A.J. Mitchell Elementary School. We have Mr. Alfredo Velasquez, our Santa Cruz County School Superintendent, once a first grade teacher. So don't let his title fool you. He was in the classroom before. And Ms. Cristian Rodriguez, who is a second grade teacher at Lincoln Elementary. So I don't want to say I'm going to grill them. I'm going to ask them a few questions, so they can share their experiences with you all. And we can hopefully learn from that and get some takeaways from that, right? Different experiences within the same field. But we'll start with Ms. Rodriguez here. So first question. So you heard me tell my story. I want to hear your story. Please share with the audience how your educational journey began. So if you want to step up here, this microphone unfortunately is not long enough. Or if you use your teacher voice, I think that would be good, right? Let's put acoustics in here. We'll do that.
It's okay. Good afternoon. My name is Cristian Rodriguez. I teach in Lincoln Elementary School. I'm a second grade teacher. This is my third year teaching. And honestly, I was Mr. Velasquez's first grade student. And it's a pleasure for me to be here and to actually tell my story. Honestly, when I was in first grade, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Yes, being in Mr. Velasquez's class, he always took care of us and always loved us, and he made the class really fun. So I remember being in recess and actually playing with my friends and role playing that I was a teacher. So I was Mr. Velasquez in recess. So from there, once again, I went to middle school, then high school, and in high school I took a class and with Miss Fuentes, which was early childhood. And I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I did my hours, I went to Brackers and worked with Mr. Fonserrada. And then after graduating, I went to Cochise College and did my associates in elementary education and early childhood. Then I stepped into U of A, and thank you, because honestly this program really helped me in that way that I didn't have to go all the way to Tucson and actually do my degree here in Nogales. And I really appreciate that, because in that time I used to have 3 jobs and I was doing my student, I was a student at the same time. So it really helped me a lot. So I'm really thankful with U of A South. And that's my education journey.
Yeah. The same question.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share that I knew a lot when he was in 3rd grade. I had his brother Yvonne in 1st grade, and I had over 500 first graders. I taught for 13 years. It was my passion. I loved it. It was the greatest experience of my life. And it was what led me to become a county school superintendent and get in politics. And I have the pleasure of seeing these kids once in a while come by my office and drop all of their invitations to graduations. I keep everything on my walls about their lives. How did I start my educational journey? I want to thank you for putting this panel together, Mr. Aguirre. And it's a pleasure to see Cristian here next to me after being my first grade. She was a role model. Let me tell you, first grade. I still remember. And when I saw her in the classroom, I was so proud of her. So proud of her. Because not everybody is cut out to be a teacher. You know, it's a passion, it's a calling. And my educational journey began, I think, many years ago. I have a degree in retail. I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA. Went into retail. Did it for 4 years. It was not my cup of tea. I thought, what am I going to do next? Work for the government for 10 years, JTPA, which is now WIOA. And I was in charge of the summer youth program. And I would look forward to that summer youth program every year because I had the opportunity to work with the high school students. And so I think inside of me all along I knew that there was that plan that I would eventually pursue education. So in 1988 my dad is passing away. And so they were kind of disappointed that I had not finished my education the way I was supposed to, follow my track the way everyone else did. I did not. I chose a different track. And so they were kind of disappointed with me. And when he passed away, I promised him I would go back to school. I took a first class, and it was at Pima Community College here at the Vales High School with Sue Nielsen. She offered me that opportunity to start. I had the most fascinating history teacher. And that was what I was going to become, a history teacher at the high school. So, took the class, started getting my paperwork ready for what was to come. And so, got the prerequisites I needed to go. I went through Prescott College. I did not do U of A, I'm sorry. I did try U of A 30 years ago, but it didn't work. You don't have the flexibility that you have now. The online, I even was willing to move. I mean, let me tell you how much tuition was at that time. $1,000.
Wow.
$1,000. So I always wanted to be a wildcat. So went through Prescott College. One of the things which I found fascinating was like the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. Everything was hands-on. All the teachers from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising were people from the industry. Retail buyers, marketing, every person who taught was in that specific area. In either area, there's expertise. And so at Prescott, you had that kind of hands-on training. You visited the classrooms, so you got a lot of hands-on experience. Walked into a first grade classroom at Lincoln School and never turned around. It became my calling, and I used to, it was one of the most fascinating types of I regressed to my childhood, and I enjoyed it very much. At that time, you could still work in thematic units. You weren't dictated to teach at a certain way, So, one of the things that we did was a trip around the world. We did the rainforest, and just to see their faces light up every time. I mean, I would spend hours decorating my classroom. The fire chief was always there trying to see, where I would. But that was my educational journey.
I'm not prepared at all.
Okay. Hi. Hi. My name is Jennifer. I started in Mexico. Okay. I came to here when I was 12. But my first experience in the educational aspect was when I was in 6th grade. They asked me, "Hey, we're going to have a meeting, and back in Mexico they don't have substitutes." Okay, they were like, "We're gonna leave the class alone." Okay, God bless you. And they were like, "And we have this first grade class, and we don't have no one to cover." And they asked me and some 3 other girls to take over the first grade classes, and I was afraid, but I said, "Okay, why not?" And I loved it. I was like, I love to be in charge. I love it. But being able to teach them, I was in 6th grade and they were first graders, and I was able to teach them how to add only in 1 hour. And they were like, oh, so this is how you do it. And I was like, oh, I'm not that bad. So I came to the United States when I was 12, not knowing a single word in English. And the first thing I thought when I was in the class is, you're not good enough. And it was not that I was not good enough, it was my lack of English. And I have this teacher that he was like, you can do it, you can do it. And he had that patience, and I was like, thank you. People like you, that's what we need, okay? And I was like, I want to be a teacher because of you, okay? And then I graduated. He was my teacher from freshman to senior in the ELA classes that they separate you. And I remember telling him, I'm not gonna do it when I was in freshman. I'm not able to speak, it's hard. And he was, you're going to. And when I was in senior, I went to him speaking English, and I asked him, can you go on to my graduation? I was so proud of myself. And then I remember when I was a senior, they had this trip to the community colleges to go to Pima. The buses were full. Go to Cochise, Sierra Vista, the buses were full. And I have this lady, I don't remember her name. She went to high school and she was promoting U of A South here in Nogales. That's back in 2011. Only 3 people signed, and that was myself, and I had my 2 friends. You come with me, because I'm not going that fast alone. They weren't like, okay. And I said, okay, why not? So I came, I brought my information, and I look at the money-wise. It was like, okay, I live here, I have my family here. Why am I going to go to Tucson if I have it here? And I asked them, is the same? Yes, it's the same. Okay, so I tried. I went into Cochise, then 3 years ago I was where you are right now. And I was hearing to people talking about their experiences, and I was like, I want to be there, but I was not a U of A student yet. So I was like, should I apply? Am I good enough? And I applied, and why not? And here I am. I graduated a year ago, and right now I'm pursuing my master's degree in leadership. So I was that little girl who did not know English, teaching you.
Thank you, panel. Great stories. Thank you. All right, the money question. What, along those lines, what or who motivated you to become an educator?
Can we be here?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. But you gotta use your teacher voice, so you gotta do that.
I'm good at it.
Well, how I said before, Mr. Velasquez motivated me to become a teacher. Also, my parents motivated me, especially my mom. She wanted to be an educator back then, but there was not enough money, so she didn't pursue. And but I knew this until I graduated from U of A, that she wanted to be a teacher, but she always motivated me to become an educator. And that's about it.
I think past experiences in life, like I said earlier, led me to pursue education. I know that my family was behind that. I also attribute that I became a good educator and an effective one because my students and my parents inspired me, so, and that was critical. I think the motivation has to come up within yourself, because that, you become an entertainer in the classroom. And if you don't motivate yourself to be a good educator, I think you've lost the momentum of being a good teacher.
Okay, I think I choose this career, this profession, because it was the only one that fit what my expectations were. Okay, I was like, I want to be able to change someone's life. Education. I want to be the one in charge. Education. I want to have fun. Education. I want my life not to be in a routine, but I want it to be a new story every day. Education. Every path was leading to education. And my parents are teachers, both of them. So I knew what education was about. But I didn't experience it until you get there. So you will wait. It's worth it. But yes.
Thank you. So we have different roles. I mean, you guys are in the classroom, the ladies are in the classroom. So we'll go with the next question, and then Mr. Velasquez, you can answer how your new role is within what you do not currently. So the question is, describe what a typical week looks like for you. So we'll start down the road here. And it's pretty straightforward, but I think everybody has a different answer, right?
Well, my typical week looks great, honestly, and the way that I see it is that seeing my children, my little ones every day, they're the ones that motivate me to be in a classroom, and just seeing their faces with that big smile, that's my typical week. And also getting ready with my lesson plans, I like to do them before, getting everything ready, and getting with my team, working together, and then honestly, when we are there teaching, in my case, there's more ideas popping out in that case, so I'm implementing some other strategies for my students at the same time. That's my typical.
We'll turn it over to Jenny. Mr. Velasquez.
Okay, a typical week. On Sunday, you plan the whole week. This is going to work like this is going to work like this is going to be perfect. Monday morning, your lesson plans. They're not getting it, so you're like, okay, here we go again. And we have Monday morning, the aha moment. Monday afternoon, the aha moment. Those are the things that comes every day, every week, and they are worth it. They are, okay? Like I said before, there's not any saying, you don't have repeated days, okay? It's a different story every day, okay? Then from when the alarm goes off in the morning, that's not my favorite part. Yes, when you arrive, if you arrive late, they will notice. They will notice. This Estrada, we were here 1 minute before you. Where were you? They will notice, okay? But yes, there's no the same day. And that's the beauty of being a teacher.
Mr. Velasquez.
Well, I can tell you that life is very different from the classroom to being in an office. It's just, and my responsibilities are from one extreme to the other. I am the fiscal agent for the majority of the school districts in the county. I oversee governing board elections. Monday mornings, we have staff meetings to discuss what's going on for the week. I have 2 programs right now. One is called CREO, which represents the career readiness educational opportunities for high school students. And under that program, we have a program called Metro Matemáticas that we brought in from WIMAS, which is currently in place at Rio Rico High School. And it's an honors program at Nogales High School that is being funded by the Department of Labor, and it was a $1.2 million grant. I also have a counseling grant from the U.S. Department of Education, which is also in its final year, and it was for K through 5th, and it provided a lot of services for our elementary teachers and students. So you know, it depends on the season. You know, right now we're getting ready. I got graduations, you know, from DARE graduations to transition graduations to high school graduations. Teacher Appreciation Week, you know, we sent out gifts to everybody in the county. We do a big Teacher of the Year event. To me, you know, I never have forgotten that I was a teacher. And so I started this 11th, we're going on the 11th year, and it's one of the biggest events in Santa Cruz County. We raise over $15,000, and about 20-some teachers are nominated. And so, you know, we're currently planning that because the interviews are done in our office with different people from the county. So I got to tell you one thing in saying that. I love what I do, and I think these two people next to me love what they do. And I think that it's a special calling, and I think that as teachers and as a county schools, we monitor and adjust. And it's something that you know, you walk in thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to do today, and it doesn't happen. You know, just like they have the students, I have constituents who call. They say, you know what, we're not happy with what's going on over here, you know, so you need to get taken care of. So that's my typical week.
Like our students, I mean, the goal was, you know, to have different people, obviously teachers, right? But as you see, you know, teaching can lead to other opportunities as well, and I think that has such a great foundation for many other things. So, thank you for your answers. This will be more heartfelt. Good question. Describe one standout memory or memories you have within education. So I'm sure you have a ton. Just take maybe one or two.
Well, my first year of teaching, I taught 5th grade, and the majority of 5th grade students passed the easy merit, so that was really nice for me because that made me proud with my team, and I was really proud of my students, that they were capable. Even students that were in special education, they were able to pass the easy merit, and that was awesome for me. Another one is when I also taught early childhood with Dr. Fomero, and it was a great feeling because I was able to share, but also I learned from them, and because the way it's really different in a classroom and teaching and working with them. It was a great feeling, and it's one of my most memorable moments, being with those little ones and helping them out to succeed and that they're capable, and always telling them that they're capable, that they're super smart. That's one of my moments. That was really special for me.
Bring it back to Mr. Velasquez in either role. Whatever role.
You know, of course, you know, in the position I'm in right now, I have great memories throughout the 11 years that I've been a county school superintendent. But as a teacher, again, those memories were part of a life that is still enhances what I do today and touch me. I remember sitting with the first grader after Christmas who could not read. And after Christmas, it seems like Santa Claus or the baby Jesus had come to him and changed it because all of a sudden he was reading a sentence. I mean, you can't put a monetary value on that. You know, that is a very special moment that, I mean, even as a teacher, it captures you it captures a moment in you seeing those lips and those words coming out, and you think, wow, what happened here? And then, of course, just, I was a very fortunate man. I was the only male first grade teacher in the county, and probably, I think in the whole county. So I couldn't hire, you know. So, I mean, kids, I mean, and I think that's, I had an advantage and disadvantage to that because children would walk into my classroom and be shocked when they saw me. Who's that bear talking to me? You know? and I was very structured and organized. But the other memory that I have is I was watching the Olympics, and it was a summer, and it was the Summer Olympics, and I loved the theme music that came on and theme songs that came out. So anyways, we met as a group, and I said, you know what, I want to change our curriculum. So we started. We were doing the multiple intelligence. So I decided to put a museum in my classroom. Every country that we visit, the students have a museum. So we planned it out for the whole year. That's why they call it done. But anyways, we visited Mexico, the United States, Africa, and Japan. And the kids had to find no facts about it. At the end of the year, we did a program which is still
That's still going on.
it's still going on at Coronado Elementary School. They represent 25 countries, and they wear the authentic costumes of that. They do a parade of nations with the theme of the Olympic Games. They do a small world, the Michael Jacksons, and We Are the Children. I mean, I planned it all out, and and the kids loved it. You know, it was a great way to wrap up the year. So that was a lot of memories there.
Wow.
Jennifer, finishing your first year, any standout moments?
I have two. Yes, this is my first time. I have two. Okay, the first one is with one girl. When I started with her, her first grade teacher told me, she's not able to learn. She's slow. Okay, you will have to have patience with her and start filing retention papers because she's not gonna do it. And when I was back there in September, I was okay. Maybe that's right, she's not capable. But on her pre-test for Galileo, she scored 7%. Yes. So she was very, very low. But I worked with her. I worked with her. And today, she did ELA again, her last one. And from 7%, she scored 60%. Yes. And so I was very proud because and she did a note for her first grade teacher, and she said, I did it. And tomorrow we're going to send it to her. And my other one, it's not about grades, but it's more about community. There was I don't know if at your school they have the coin war competition in September. Okay, in the school it's a coin war competition. Everyone has to grab a coin, and we have a big box of coins, and they have a surprise present for the winners, and we were like, we want to win that. So we work hard, we go out, we ask our parents every time I started. So as an example, I put 3 coins over there. So every day I was like my other three, and my students were following me, and we were the ones who win, and we collected with only pennies, like $100. Wow. It was a big box, and they earned Panda sponsor a dinner. They were actually the cookers. They were the chefs. They were doing it, and they dressed them as the chefs. They put hats on it. And their picture is there in the cafeteria since September. And they were like, yes, we are there. Mrs. Estrada, did you see? I was there. But Mr. Panda was in front of me. So in the photo, it's Mr. Panda, Mrs. Estrada's hair, and the class. But I'm in the cafeteria. I'm like Mike Wazowski. Yes. Yes. That was one of my main memories.
Thank you very much. All right, we have a few current students, so this will be mostly for them. What advice would you give aspiring educators that wish somebody had shared with you?
The advice that I give aspiring educators is that truly do what you love to do with all your passion. You're in this field because you want to inspire children. Always remember to be a role model for those little ones. They're always looking up to you, no matter what. You mean the world to them. There are many students out there that they're passing through hard lives, and you don't even imagine. We sometimes we say, you know what, I cannot do this because we have a lot of work as educators. But always remember that you're there for them. Also, support them, care, and motivate them every single day that they are capable of succeeding in life. Always arrange accommodations for them to feel confident about their learning. And remember, you're the pillar of those students.
I just whispered to her, could I just ditto that? I went into education at the age of 33. So it was a different time for me to enter education. If I would have done it in my 20s, I think it would have been in and out. I never imagined the responsibility that came with it. It was overwhelming. One of the things that we worked at Coronado, and our principal made sure was that we worked in teams. I think that was critical to the survival of an incoming teacher because you don't stand alone. You have the mentors and the support system there because it's overwhelming. From lesson plans to grading papers to being prepared and still being human about it when you're in the classroom. And we all try to be perfect in the classroom, and there's no such thing. You monitor and adjust, just like the three of us had. I continue to hear it and see it here. But, it has to come from within. I don't care what degree you have, and I don't care how many masters you have, and I don't care if you have a doctorate. If it doesn't come from the heart, you're not going to make a difference in the classroom. Kids or the children are so significant enough being leading that you're standing up there just going through the faces. You have to understand that you're not just a teacher. You're a parent. You're a counselor. And that you are there, like you said, you're a role model for them. And you can't. You have no business in the classroom if your heart's not in it. I can't see how anyone can survive. And I think with the No Child Left Behind, I know there was there was a lot of criticism, but it weeded out the bad teachers, and I think that was critical. So another thing that I advise you to do, because I have two teachers come into my class, student teachers come into my classroom, that after they had done their stint at the U of A or ASU or NAU, decided they didn't want to become a teacher. So it's important that you visit the classrooms, that you talk to other people who are teachers. Is it really what you want to do? 3 months vacation doesn't cut it, or the 2 weeks in December, or fall break, or the spring break, right, ladies? That doesn't cut it. And always remember another thing, that you don't stop learning. I have 2 master's degrees, one in multicultural education and educational leadership. I just heard both of them. She's going back to school, and I heard she also going, and that's important. You don't stop with your bachelor's degree. You need to continue that hunger to learn.
Don't worry, it will get to you, okay? When I was in U of A, I was like, I'm gonna have my bachelor's and that's it. Like, homework, no. But once you graduate and you are there, you're like, I want to get more prepared. I want to know more. So it will get to you. And my advice for you is don't feel like you're alone. Okay, back in August, the first day, I was scared, okay? I was there, I opened the door, and I had 20 kids coming through that door. And they were staring at me, and I stared at them. And they were like, you are our teacher? And I was like, you're my students? Are you real? They didn't prepare you for that. But then the teachers came. The teachers, the principal walked in. This is Miss Estrada. Miss Estrada, if you need something, let us know. I was next to the phone every 5 minutes. I was like, how do you do this? Don't worry, it's going to get better. And don't expect to have it ready the first week, okay? Don't think that you're going to be perfect the first week, okay? It's not going to happen. But thank God you have a team that is going to support you, okay? We're in a very nice community, and I learned it, okay? And it's fresh right here. So it's fresh. I can tell that it's happening right now, okay? It's scary. It is scary, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. But as soon as you get to know your students, they will love you, okay? And they will ask that the principal if you can be their teachers next year. They're going to. And you're like, hey, I love you, but I want my other youth students. I need to rest, Isaac. You will have an Isaac, so get ready.
Thank you. Is there anybody that has supported you along the way?
Honestly, my parents. My parents have always supported me along my journey. And how I said before, my mom that wanted to be an educator, she's always supports me in all ways. And also my team has supported me, even Dr. Romero. I'm really thankful with her because since I used to be a substitute teacher, so I used to go and sub there a lot. And she always inspired me to become an educator and to be there in her school. And I'm really thankful with her because now I'm a teacher there at her school, and that makes me really proud to be a Lincoln team member now. And now that she's retiring, it's gonna be hard, but I know that all of us, we have grown as a family. How she says, a familia. And those are the important people that have always supported me along my way.
Like I said, my dad inspired me to go back to school. My mother afterwards supported me in everything that I did as an educator. Living at home, I was able to afford to go back to school and get my 2 masters. My brother has been phenomenal. Both my brothers who passed away, but they support. When it came to buying school supplies, they were there for me. And the teams that I worked with, they were always helping me purchase the things that I needed for the classroom. I had an awesome, just like you said about principal. I still follow her example as an educational leader. She had that philosophy that it was a shared leadership style of leading your team, and I still reflect on her style of leadership. My team, but most importantly also my students. They aspire me to be who I am today. I said that. And my parents. So I think it's a group of people that come together, and most importantly, God. God has, I turned to God many times when I was going. When I was going to leave teaching, I remember my mom telling me, "Why are you going to leave teaching? Why are you going to go into politics?" God was a teacher. Stay in teaching. And I said, I need to move on.
A higher calling.
My parents, they always been there, and these 2 beautiful people here. My best friend, Maggie, she's always been there, okay? She's always always, and my boyfriend, we've been together for almost 6 years. Yes, and he's always there since day 1. So thank you.
We've been friends for 7 years, just so you
Senior year. So funny story. She was one of the ones who was with me when we were here at 3 in the morning, and we were doing
We did not procrastinate at all. Just,
Of course not. It was a final. It was a tough. You know, Dr. Arnold. Yeah. He made us do that. He made us call the police at 3 a.m. And we were in junior high and high school together, and we met until senior year. Yeah.
And she's actually the person that motivated me to enroll in Cochise College. So, because I was a little closer to not finishing and continuing my degree, so I definitely owe her a lot. But yeah, a lot of funny stories that we have.
We'll catch up on those after.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So as you see, I mean, you're in that leadership role, but you have support along the way, and whoever it's from, whether it's at your school, whether it's from family, like that's support. I think you're not in this journey alone, right? All right. So Jenny, you're finishing your first year, but you've been educators, I think, for a little bit longer. You're in education and have been in education. What has motivated you to stay within education? We'll start with you.
Okay. During this year, I'm not gonna lie, I've been about the edge to quit. I was like, this is too hard for me because teaching direct for ed, it's short. Like, we do a lot, and you don't know how much a teacher does until you are a teacher, like an actual teacher. Because while I was doing my student teaching, I was like, this is easy. Yeah, sure. I wasn't sick. Oh, you can go. My mentor teacher. I was like, this is easy.
This is easy.
Yeah.
To change something, don't I?
They changed a lot. Yeah. So I was about to quit 2 times. I'm not ready for this. This is too hard. Where am I thinking of doing my first year and doing my master's at the same time? Like, everything was new. And then I had them, the students. They were like, Mrs. Dada, we miss you. And that changed everything. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Vasquez.
I'm a very fortunate man. I love what I do. I get to make a difference in the lives of 10,000 students in our county. I get to visit classrooms, schools, from charter schools to the Montessori schools to public schools to private schools, and see how everyone's approach to teaching is different, yet with a common thread. And that is to make a difference in a child's life. What more can I ask?
My students are the ones that motivate me to continue teaching, going into education. They're my little ones that they have taught me to follow my dreams. So that's why I'm going back to school. Yes.
Full time. Moving to Tucson. She's making a whole different change.
But you're coming back later, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Right. Well, one last question. Okay, this one will be easy, I promise. Any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience? We'll start with you. Okay. Sorry. Christine?
With me? Honestly, I love to help. Even students are coming into U of A. So if you're more than feel welcome, ask me any questions. You can even contact me and I can help you. You can go even visit my classroom It would be a pleasure to have all of you in my classroom so you can see the difference of just actually talking about it and actually being in a classroom. And follow your dreams, do it with passion, and remember, there's going to be times that it's going to be hard, but don't let yourself down. Always continue. You can do this, all right?
I also open my doors. You don't stand alone. Every time I hear someone's becoming a teacher, I call them the star in the sky, because it's a beautiful, beautiful profession. A noble one, a lot of hard work, a big commitment, but you don't stand alone. Not only will you have the support of your team and your with the community, you have parents that will support you. Again, my doors are open. If you ever need anything, I'm there for you. And feel free to come to my office. It's up at the county. If you need to just take a time to bounce off the wall or scream and shout or say, what the hell am I doing here? You're more than welcome to come into my office.
Don't be afraid to try. Okay? You never know how far you can get. Okay? That's my only advice.
All right, well, that concludes our panel session. So let's give it up for our panelists. Thank you, honestly, for speaking from the heart. I mean, that's what I appreciate. That's what I felt that it came from the heart, from all of you. So thank you very much for sharing your experiences, being willing to do. I truly appreciate it. So I have a few people I want to thank. Mr. Velasquez, he helped us with the refreshments, so please thank him on the way out, and his office has been a great support putting this event together. We were scheduled to have the event, not the best time. We rescheduled. I'm so happy that we still had the event, and that is available, also will be available. So I think it's good. And thank you, Mr. Velasquez. He continues to support me. I truly appreciate it. Our community college partners, or our provisional partners, they are always so good about helping us with the building, loaning a space. What do you need? Here you go. Can we help you? So I had some of the staff help me, in particular Christy. She might be up front there when you get out there. She's awesome. I don't have this eye for decoration that she does. So I would say it was me. Most of it was me. She's very good. And also our PIMA partners who are coming on board. We're trying to build things together and opportunities for students here. So I'm very thankful for them as well. Mr. Jose Corrales, taking your pictures over there. Great at what he does. I don't have that eye, also creativity for that. So he's very helpful, and thank you for all that you did tonight. Our student worker, you might have seen him out there, Mr. Francisco Ovies. So he is my right-hand man, I like to call. What do we need to do, Alan? Let's do it. Let's go do this, do that. There he is, poking around. So I couldn't, put this together without his help, obviously, as well. Our program director, Dr. Lori Cedar, so for taking the time out, to drive, and Maria Orozco, also from the elementary education team. Thank you very much. Current, past students, thank you very much. Can't leave you guys out there as well. You've changed my life as well. You continue to change my life, so I truly appreciate it. And thank you for being a part of my life as well, and being part of this community. And the audience, anybody that did it, Dr. Tesh, thank you also for making it here. We truly appreciate it. He's our program director for psychology, so always supporting what we do here in Nogales. Thank you very much. So to finalize, I hope that you found the stories shared by our panel discussion of educators to be useful and hopefully inspiring in igniting your educational path. As you have heard and learned from our professional panel, one's educational path and journey is not all, as we say, rainbows and unicorns, right? You did not hear that from anybody in the panel. I wanted them to keep it real. Thank you for keeping it real. It's going to be hard. There will be moments of hardship and struggle. However, overcoming these moments academically and in the classroom is worth it, as you hear. Having the platform to make a difference daily in the lives of students is an honor that a privileged few share. Please remember this through the good and bad, and remember that the impact that you will have on your community and in the world. You're shaping up minds that are going to end up everywhere, right? and you will shape the minds of the future. So, thank you very much for your time. This concludes our event. And let's take our panelists once again. So I'd like to thank our panelists, a little small token of our appreciation for your time here. So thank you very much, Mr. Velázquez. Mr. Rodriguez, thank you very much. Ms. Estrada, thank you very much. And some U of A swag, come on. There you go.
You know, for my classroom.
Thank you. No problem, no problem.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your story, hopefully inspiring a new generation of educators. We need teachers in our community, right? And that's always the goal. And we'll keep pushing for that. So, thank you once again.
Thank you for coming.
Good person.
Thank you.